everybody. This is brought to you by the Chisago County HRA EDA as we discussed COVID-19 and all the stores that were unable to open their doors. We thought, well, they can open up their web presence and hopefully sell more. This is also really valuable for the future, even after COVID, to be marketing more on online. So we're working with Ann Tracy from Tracy Information Services, and she is, Ann's got a great history in research and technology. Ann is a librarian, has been a librarian. She's got her glasses somewhere.
Yeah.
There you go. And also has worked with organizations like Minnesota Technologies that are out there to assist businesses, primarily manufacturing businesses. And her role was helping them get online and use technology better for their business. So she's a good fit. We have this is our fourth online presence webinar, I guess, or meeting. And we also, if you haven't taken advantage, offer one-on-one services with Ann Tracy, and you can sign up for those. We will send out a registration if you haven't used it yet. I've been hearing great things. Everybody says that it was so helpful. Sometimes you can sit in these things and learn, and then you go down, you go sit down to do it, and it doesn't work. And so just getting those extra hints and tips on how to do it is so helpful. So please take advantage of those. Today, if you have questions, either just, we have a small group, so you can just chime in, or feel free to use the chat feature, and we'll ask Ann the question for you. Why don't we go around the room, and if everybody could give their name and what organization you're with, and then what did you want to learn about Facebook today? I think a lot of us use Facebook, not everyone, so there might be some beginners, and then there might be some that have some real specific questions around Facebook. And I'll just start. I'm Nancy Hoffman with the Chisago County HRA EDA. I tend to forget to introduce myself, so that's why I'm going first. We are using Facebook, but I don't think very well. We tend to just share other people's things, and I'd like to, and I do think business Facebook is very different than personal, so I'd like to learn how to use it better for the HRA EDA.
Sorry.
All right. How about Katie next?
Well, I'm Katie Malchow. I'm the director at the Chisago Lakes Area Chamber. And I guess when it comes to Facebook, I could just use a little bit of a whip. I feel like with some strong systems in place, I would probably be utilizing it in a more consistent way. And I do know that the power of social media is in consistency and in intentional messaging. And I very much feel like at this point of my game, I'm just sort of posting when I think of it, or when the inspiration hits, and there is really very little method to the madness.
Thanks, Katie. Dave?
Good morning. My name's Dave. I work for Mental Health Counseling Services. We are an outpatient mental health clinic. We just started doing Facebook. We just launched a page, I would say 6 weeks ago, something like that. And so I am interested in figuring out how to expand our base of followers. We've sort of got a plan to, right now we're just posting once a week on Fridays or around the same time. Hopefully, that's kind of playing into the formula of Facebook for getting more followers. We don't exactly know. So yeah, just here to learn and learn from everybody else. Thanks.
Say, Dave, could you tell us the name of your business?
It's Mental Health Counseling Services.
Okay.
So we have an office in Minneapolis and one in North Branch.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, Dave.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's see, Jim?
Megan Karate here with Stein Insurance. We have Jim. We have a couple other people in the room, Krista and Susan. So we're all here to just kind of piece together whatever information we can to see how we can improve our online presence on Facebook. There's definitely things we could be doing better, but so yeah, we're just looking to get a little bit more organized in our strategy as well.
Thank you. Lisa.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Ripp. I'm with the City Hall in Rush City, and I'm mainly looking to get more followers. How can we reach out to people, get them to follow our page, and hopefully try to find out how to create engaging posts that people like to see, maybe share, that would also followers.
And Lisa, you also have a business on the side, right?
I do. I have a photography business. I do mainly schools and sports, and that's also another. I would apply everything I learned here also to my business page, which is to reach more people, outside the local area here, so I can expand that business as well.
Marlis?
Good morning, Barlis Dunn from Park Manufacturing up in Cambridge. Wearing a lot of hats again with this one, from Captain Sean's to the Chamber to the Visitor Bureau. I don't feel very suave on Facebook when it comes to building the followers base. And something else that I'm experiencing as I try to work more with it is I'm trying to figure out how to kind of clean up all the stuff that seems to be flying through my Facebook and how to better understand how to follow other groups. I hear a lot about events and postings and things that are on Facebook, and I seem to miss them, and I'm not sure why. I need to be better at knowing how to zero in on events and groups that I want to follow, as well as building the followers.
And I'm sorry, is it Lori from Lindstrom?
Laura.
Laura, thank you.
Yes. Okay. Hi, my name is Laura. Yeah, I'm here at the City Hall in Lindstrom, and I guess I'm comfortable with Facebook, like in my own personal setting, but I don't really know how to run a city Facebook account. So I need some help there.
I think we hit everybody. And then we have Anne.
Okay.
Get away.
I don't know if Sarah, you want to say hello or not.
Sorry, Sarah.
That's the one.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hi guys, I'm Sarah. I work with Nancy over at the HRA. Yeah, and I just like learning stuff in general. I do Facebook, but I'm not a pro by any means. So any of these tips and tricks are always helpful. So it's fun.
Great. Great.
Thanks, Sarah. We have somebody else joining.
She just joined, is joining.
I think it's Rebecca Perotti.
We're all waiting to see. Oh,
It's taken a while.
somebody else too. It's a 320 number, so I'm gonna.
Looks like a Rush City number.
That's Lisa again. I accidentally hung up on you guys.
Oh, okay. We got Lisa twice. So nice, we got her twice. Okay, well, maybe I'll start because we'll see with Rebecca. She can chime in or not. So that's well, I've talked to several of you folks, and Nancy kind of did a nice job introducing me. So I'm gonna just dive in, and I've kind of started with the basics and moved on. So stop me with questions when you have them. I always find sometimes it's just easy to start at the beginning, and a lot of you might just nod your head for a lot of it, but then sometimes suddenly you say, oh, I didn't know that part of it. So if you're like me, oh, I know how to do that, then someone shows me how to do it, and I go, oh, I've been missing step 3 my whole life. That's why those eggs don't turn out. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. And in the notes or in the chat, there's a link to a handout. And I just can't remember if I got this into Sarah in time before or not. It's just something to kind of help you follow along. It's not something you need at all, but if you like something there to follow along with, just in the chat, you can click and get to that, just a little check off sort of a thing that will follow us through the day. Okay. So when we start, I kind of go back to the same question all of the time. Is think about who you want to reach, and think very specifically about who you want to reach. And partially I asked this to, are you using the right tool for it? And what do you want them to do? And to some degree, you want to think about that for every post, but then you want to keep that in your mind as well. At the end of the day, do you want people to come into your shop? Do you want them to just know about you? Do you want them to sign up for your email newsletter? Do you want to be moving people from an email newsletter or from a printed mailed out newsletter to doing interaction on Facebook? So take a second. I'm going to show you a page full of different random statistics that'll show you some background on Facebook. But as you look at these, think about 7 in 10 U.S. adults use Facebook, so it's a good tool for most people. I will say Facebook said they reached the largest number of users ages 13 to 17. I have to say, if I were trying to reach 13 to 17-year-olds, Facebook might not be my first. I might be looking at an Instagram or a Snapchat instead. But then some of the information on the right too. These are just random things that I thought were interesting, and it kind of got my brain thinking about what can you do with this sort of a tool. So think about who do you want to reach? What do you want them to do? And then I picked on you guys, the Chisago County HRA EDA right away. Again, just starting from the beginning, there are a number of ways that you can interact with Facebook. The first is a Facebook profile. A Facebook profile is if you are on Facebook, and I'm assuming everybody who's on the call is on Facebook. It sounds like everybody is. I was going to do a poll. I was going to do a hands up sort of a thing, but if you're not, speak now, either in the chat or out loud, or forever hold your peace. But a Facebook profile is kind of your personal account. Sometimes people will set up their business page as a Facebook profile, especially if you've had your Facebook business presence for a long time. Back in the day, it was kind of the only way to do it, and then Facebook tried to push everybody to do a page instead of a profile. And you can see right away when I'm looking at the Chisago County site here, right under I don't know if you can see my mouse as I go over, but right under the banner, we can see that I've liked that page. I've liked it, and that would indicate that it's a Facebook page as opposed to a profile. So I've tried to add how you would interact with each of these as your profile yourself. So with a Facebook profile, you can friend somebody. If we're Facebook users, that probably makes sense to people. Facebook page, you can like them. If you have your site set up as a Facebook profile instead of a page, if you have your business presence set up, we can talk about that. Let me know if there's somebody in the crowd who is in that position. There are ways to merge those. Being honest, there are some advantages to having a Facebook profile over a page, but at the end of the day, you can't get any of the statistics that you can get if you have a Facebook page, and there are other limitations that come up. That being said, I still have maybe 2 people in my world who are like, I'm not going to give up my business profile page. Then there are Facebook groups. One Facebook group that I belong to is my neighborhood group. And I'm looking because I'm looking in case somebody else joins sorry, I'm looking to do an admin thing. A Facebook group, you can have a private group or a public group, and it's set up just a little bit differently. It's something that you would join. for most of us here, I think what we want is a Facebook page. And then there are Facebook events. And you know, it's a event because it's got a date on it, but also when you interact with it, you show that you're either interested in it or you're going to it. Once you set up your Facebook page, you can host an event as your page. You could set up a group as your page. If you have a group, you can kind of merge it with your Facebook page. So those are sort of the different silos and how they can interact together. The nice thing about a Facebook event, I'm kind of a fan of using the event for getting more followers, is that people can share the information when they're going to an event. You can either set it up so you can see who else is going to that event or not, but it's a good way to kind of build that momentum. What do you need to start a page? And this is helpful even if you've already set up your page, to just check to make sure that you have set it all up correctly. You need the name of your organization. You need a description. So you want to look through your own profile, through your own page. It's hard to use the right language. Look through your own page and make sure that you have a description. And think about the keywords that you want to use. Saying that you're a restaurant is good. Saying that you're a diner that specializes in lunch is even better. You know, try to get as many keywords as you can into the description that you want to use, kind of for your about section. You want to choose a category, and those categories are kind of pre-selected for you. But again, being as specific as you can makes sense. You want to set up a profile image. The profile image is the kind of round image that you'll see, and then the cover image is, and I've added the dimensions here. And then you want to set up a call to action. With a page, well, you'll look at the picture that I have here on the right. What I happen to know is this is the page that I've set up for my radio show. It's, well, the call here is to learn more, but they have set up different call to actions that you can choose depending on the category of your business. Here, I think are options where you could shop, call, learn more. They have 5 or 6 different things. Then once you've set up the page, and again, it sounds like most people have set it up. See, if we look at the image on the right, these are all the different navigation points. So I'm gonna, if I see that I'm looking at Facebook. Can you guys see Facebook? Are you still looking at the PowerPoint?
Still PowerPoint.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I might try to reshare that in a different way. If you have your page set up, you want to make sure that you have content in each of these navigation areas. So if I'm looking at the right-hand side, we've got that mostly Minnesota music on WMCN, and then there's that column, that gray column. So you want information in the home. That's kind of where the description would go. The point that I'm really kind of making here is you just want to make sure that you have all of those pages filled out. Or in the settings, you can kind of get rid of that section when you need to. Looking again at the page, you can see where I have, there's the top navigation, and then we've got page, info, events. Oh, I think you can click on edit page info or settings. But it's helpful to take a look at your Facebook page as if you're a customer, as if you're looking at it from the first time. Does it make sense? And I'm going to I made this bonus tool, and I can't remember who I was talking about this with earlier this week. Maybe it was Joanne, somebody that I had a one-on-one call, and she reminded me of this great tool, Canva. Canva is a free tool that you can use, and it would help you create a nice cover page or a profile or actually posts. And it's a graphic tool, help you to create the graphics, but there's a free version of it. You could, I'm sure it's even better if you pay for it. But it's slick, and I think some of creating a Facebook page that gets attention is having that nice cover page, using nice images in it, using images that have the text based in it too. There are some rules when it comes to the cover cover image for a Facebook page. They used to be more sticklers for that. There used to be really, you couldn't have more than 40% of your top cover page be text. Even if it was an image in text, you have all of these. What they will show is that it's still having a call to action, having fewer words is more attractive to people, you know, and then obviously using images that are attractive to different people. So showcasing what you do, but also things that are eye-catching, things that set the mood, things that kind of represent who you want to be. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. See if I can share that in a different way. Do people have any questions? Do they have? This stuff that you guys have already, you're kind of like, we've done that. Let's move on. I'm seeing a couple of nods. Okay, that's cool. That's great, actually, because my assumption is that we would be working more on this next part. I have to say though, this inspired me. So I have this radio show, and it's a Facebook page it's the Facebook page I don't spend a lot of time on because it's my avocation. And God love, my daughter made these amazing logos for me. And I looked and I was like, all right, now that you're doing this class tomorrow, get your act together, use Canva, create a nice display, because otherwise I had her logo kind of half shown, you know, and it is interesting when you take a look at your site with fresh eyes and say, oh, that doesn't really fit there. It doesn't. So here are some of the things how to grow your audience. And someone's gotta. I'm looking quickly at the chat to see if somebody had it. I can see something is going on and I can't see what it is.
I can.
Yeah, Nancy, if you see that would be great.
Sure. Sorry about that.
No. And I just kind of get a flag that okay, so grow your audience. First is invite your friends to like you. And I suspect I'll just look for nods that most people have tried to do that. The next would be to post something in your shop or whatever would make sense. I think including it in, in your billing, just letting people know that you are on Facebook. Another would be to send an email or e-message to the folks that you know. So those are all the things that you probably thought of yourself, you know. So that's where I think we get into, and these are some of the things that different people have already alluded to, is you can interact with pages as your page. So if your page, and I've tried to use screenshots here because sometimes sharing Facebook doesn't work as well, but I'm going to try to see if you can.
And Anne, while you're looking, there was a question. Were you planning to do this? Is there a way to archive old Facebook posts? Excuse me, Facebook posts on a page?
I'm going to ask for just a little bit. The Posts will be archived. So I'm going to look at a page while we're just trying to screen share, see if I can. All right, now I think you're looking at Facebook, yeah? Okay, thank you. So I'm going to scroll so you can see that the old posts will be archived. You can do some organization of the post. Hey, yesterday was Bloomsday. Happy Bloomsday, people. I did a post on that. Bloomsday is the day that James Joyce's Ulysses takes place. There you go. You can, if Alex Trebek ever asks you. So there is, they are automatically archived. I don't know if sometimes you can do a little bit of better organization. I will say, so here's a funny thing to talk about in a class about Facebook, but I have a friend who runs a homeless shelter. She's amazing on Facebook. She has, you know, several thousand friends on Facebook. She posts everything that she has on Facebook. And I finally had to say, we need to build you a website because it is difficult to get to that archived information, honestly. I mean, and first she was like very resistant. And she gets, for her, Facebook is awesome for communication, terrible for archive. So she had the governor out last summer. She arranged a tour. She arranged a tour of the governor through a couple of different homeless shelters, and then we brought him under a bridge talking to people who were experiencing homelessness. The only place that you can find this information is on my blog. So it's a good question. It is automatically archived, but it's you kind of have to scroll to get to it. You can pin certain posts to the top of your page. So I'm going to try to do that here. Dun, dun, dun. So I'm looking at this post from yesterday, and if I click on the 3 ellipses, I could pin this to the top of the page. So then it would stay there. It would stay there until I unpinned that from the top of the page. So it's what you can raise up some of it, but you know, you can only pin one to the top of the page. So that would be one of my frustrations, I have to admit, with Facebook. So that's, and then apparently you can mark it as COVID update. There we go. And those are some of the things. So they are automatically archived. They're not, for a librarian, they're not that well organized, but they are there. And you can do a little bit. You can post, yeah, I guess that's right. I hope that answers the question. It answers the question by saying you can, but it's not the best archiving that I've ever seen. And if you're in a position with that, what you have is a Facebook page and you don't have a website now, you know, really what I do for my friend is I set up a free WordPress site for her. I just copy and paste everything and I put it from her Facebook page to a website for her. That allows me to do, and I don't want to turn this into a website class, but that allows me to do assign some keywords each post, and we organize it for there. So for the archive, we have the website, but for the immediate, we have Facebook. So I was saying one of the things that you can do is interact with other pages, interact with different people. And I know in a couple of the one-on-one sessions that I had, a great way to spread the word is to tag different people in your post. So this is a radio show that I used to do, but it's on a college campus. So now it's a podcast that I do because the college campus is closed. Just last week, I did an interview with a band called Crash Cuddle. So what I want to do is write about the post that we did. I'm not going to see. I don't know why. There we go. I was going to say, now I don't know why they're. If I want to tag somebody in it, I just do the @ sign and then I start typing their name like I just did. There you go. Now, whatever I post, thanks for your time. If I were to post this, all of their followers would see the post as well. And that's a great way to kind of spread the word, is to write about other people. Some people will have this turned off. So it's something that you can do in your own privacy settings. And I try to think about
Anne,
yes.
we do have a question. Is WordPress
thanks.
your preferred website platform? I've noticed
WordPress,
that. Oh, there's a little more. I've noticed that it's gotten harder to share a post from a page to a wall. Do you know if there's a reason for that?
I'm sorry, I missed the last.
I've noticed that it's gotten harder to share a post from a page to a wall. Do you know if there's a reason for that?
A post, a Facebook post, or a post from WordPress?
Two questions. So
Oh, sorry.
you had-
Okay.
That's okay. So you had mentioned WordPress as when you were talking about your friend and you said we just need to build you a website.
Yeah.
I operate on website and in WordPress and a few different websites, and I have found it to be super cumbersome. And I don't know if it's just that I'm like a idiot about it, or if it's not an easy platform. And I've been hearing from more people that the more frustrated I've gotten, the more I've asked around, and I keep hearing that WordPress is a pretty tricky platform compared to some alternatives. So that's one question.
I will say it's a little bit like Coke and Pepsi, and WordPress is my Diet Coke. So I use it all the time. But I will tell you this, I use it. They made some upgrades. I'm not down with their upgrades. So I use what they call their classic editor, and that makes it much easier. And I don't know if we're talking about the same difficulty. They've changed it, so now they use a block editor, and I don't love that.
It's hard to move things around. So, and I know that this isn't the topic at hand, but you had just mentioned that, and I had that's like fresh in my head right now, so I thought I would ask.
Okay, if you shoot me an email,
Okay.
I talk forever about that, but I won't.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
The other question I had is I will oftentimes post to the chamber page, and I will try to share that post to my personal wall. And I used to be able to do that with no problem, and that I have always found is a good way to try to get a little bit more traction to a page.
Yeah.
Is through shares, but it's for some reason it's not working. I'm wondering if it's because I'm administrator on both, or if I have my settings set up not accurately or something.
Well, thanks, Katie, because that is a great way to do it. And I'm going to do. Click here. So one, and it's something that I just like to show myself in a swimsuit. That's why I include this page. So here's something. Oops. Yeah, and the pictures get better. So one of the things I think I'm gonna just step back a little second, because sharing your posts, sharing your Facebook page posts is another great way to build your audience, especially since if your Facebook page is new, probably you have more profile friends than you have page followers. And I'm just gonna go, because I do that all the time. So when I'm gonna share this post, and this is just, there's one of the logos that my kid created for me. So there you go. When I want to share that to my Facebook, to my profile, to my wall, I need to go down here, and I'm going to click, because I need to make sure that I'm sharing it as me. And then I can like it. And I'm interacting as me. I'm not interacting as the page that I administer, and I can share it. Couple of different stories. you know, I can share it in a friend's timeline. I can share it, but if I want to share it on my own timeline, I just click there. You know, art by my kid. And I could click post here. I haven't been having troubles doing that. And so I don't know if I've walked through the same process that you would have walked through to do it.
You have. I found myself stumbling around the other day because it was like I could share it from a page to a page, but I couldn't share it from a page to a wall. But I don't know. I'm guessing it's something in my settings, and that's okay. We don't have to stick on it.
Okay, yeah, it might be, but I'm glad that you asked it because it is. I think sharing your post to your personal page is a great way to start doing it. So yeah, Katie, we'll try to go through online because troubleshooting can be a tricky thing.
Sounds
so if
good.
I wanted to, if I were going to share this and I wanted to, and I won't because it's not a new art from my kid. So I would share it like this, and I'm sharing from my page to my personal profile. I would probably want to tag my kid. There we go. So again, if I click on the @ sign and then start typing in the name, that's how I'll find Kate. Now, when I post it, all of my friends are going to see it. All of Kate's friends are going to see it. You know, Kate's 20 years old. She's not on Facebook so much anymore, but but I have to laugh because, you know, she's 20, so about 5 of her friends are still my Facebook friends because they friended me when they were 12. I love that. But this is a great way, is to share it in different ways. To share, and if you think of different ways to include different people in, I think that is another way. The other thing that I can do, and now I'm just going to look at, this is always a dangerous thing. Look at my Facebook homepage, because there's not going to be anything political that will annoy anybody. Please be all about Bloomsday. Please be all about Bloomsday. The other is to interact. Shoot, sorry, I'm trying to find. All right. I'm going to try this a different way without. As my Facebook page, I can interact with different pages. So when I'm looking at, as I'm looking at First Avenue, should be. Here's a post, and I want to comment or share or somehow interact with how independent music venues are fighting for their existence. It's the same when I look below here. And because I'm looking at a page, I can click here and I can say, oh, okay, I want to interact with this page. And I'm the administrator of a couple different pages, but it's mostly Minnesota music. Now, if I like it, I'm liking it as my page. If I comment, I'm commenting as my page. And that, again, can be a great way to start interacting and start building the reputation of the page the same way that you naturally would with your profile page.
We do have a question, Anne.
Yeah, oh, thank you, thank you.
So it says, how can I embed a link into an image I posted to direct people to another site?
On Facebook, you know, that I don't know. I don't know if you can. I think you have to do the image and then a link. That I will look that up and I will report back if I find out differently. So if I wanted to, let's go back to the. Come on. I'm going to test it. Come on. course, it's going to be slow. It's going to be slow because nobody is working on better broadband. If somebody would just take on that. Oh, also I'm looking at the most. There we go. Now it's user error, I'll be honest. Okay. Yeah.
I wonder if that has to do with, I know like Instagram stories, you can type over an image.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that same, not frustration, but like as you're toggling back and forth between the two platforms, sometimes like not all the features translate, and that can be frustrating. I wonder if that's what is being referred to.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if people can elaborate. I don't know if there. I mean, what you could do is post an image, and then, as I said, post a link right under it, or let's see if I can do a quick. Again, I've been doing this way too long to just say, yeah, I should have something set up where I'm there. That looks like a good picture. You know, so I could have an image here, and I could, it's not going to matter what and have a link here. You know, they're two separate things. But I will report back if I find a way to add a link directly into an image. I just don't know of one. But Katie, I think you're right. It's probably that Instagram come back a little bit. The other, I mean, I'm trying to think of different ways to do it, because the other way to do it is if I were to just add a link, Facebook would pull from that link and choose an image for you. So I did get smart. So I'm going to quickly. Sorry, what I forget is that you can't see everything that I'm doing, or maybe you can. Something with more, okay. So I could find an article, I could find another page, leave. And if I post the link, Facebook will pull some summary of the article, you know, a clip of the article. And you have a little bit of leeway. Oh, I love when it doesn't work the way you want it to. There we go. So here's an article that I wrote for something the other day. And sometimes you'll get an option to choose a different image. You know, I'm realizing that we're not here because there's a featured image in the website that I used. And I'm deciding if it's enough hassle to pick up another picture. If you have the opportunity to choose a different image from this article, what you'll see is there'll be a place where up on the top left, kind of right above the G here, where you can toggle through a couple of different images. I'm deciding it's not, unless somebody really wants to see it, it's not worth the time to recreate making that work. But so there's a long, very confusing answer to, I don't know that there's a way to just embed a link into a graphic. But there are ways that you could put both the graphic and the link, either by creating something outside of Facebook where it's part of an article or part of something else that would then look more embedded, or just putting the image and the link. But I will look to see if there's a way to embed the image in the link. That would be new to me.
Lisa asked something else too. Did she answer your question, Lisa, or can you chime in and just say, I just don't understand the question exactly.
Which question? The about embedding the link?
No, I don't get the circle.
Oh, okay. Well, I added an image. I don't know if you can see the PNG that I sent.
Yeah, it won't show me.
Oh, it won't. Well, Anne was showing us where she could click on that little circle, and then she could choose which page she is responding to a post on.
Yep.
I don't get that.
Okay, so what you're talking about right here?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. The reason that I'm getting this now is because I am I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a page, and I'm wanting to share a link from a page. So when I click here, then you'll see what happens. If I was looking at somebody's personal timeline, I would not see the same thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I know. That's one of those things where it seems like, oh, darn it, my business should be a profile page. But they make it more and more difficult for a business to be a profile page. So that circle only shows up when you're kind of going from page to page. You can tag, as your page, you can tag people using that @ sign. You can tag profiles and pages, unless that person or that page has set it up so that you can't. But interacting from page to, it has to be a page to page sort of a thing. So I hope that helps. It's worth looking into, and it's where, I mean, this is the great way to get, to organically grow your audience. And it's, I was, oh good, I actually remember to say this. It's saying if you want to include your Facebook address in the comments here, I will include them somewhere, and we could all like each other's stuff. I mean, there's a little bit of that too, is just kind of making deals saying, hey, we know that every Friday there's going to be a mental health topic from Dave. So if we all looked at it and we said, all right, as a group, let's all try to like that. Kind of coming, this is where I wish we were all in the same room, because it's coming up with plans where you're going to lift people up, and that then they're going to lift you up. I think that that's helpful too. It's funny because some of the nonprofits that I work for, we will very distinctly, people will come out with plans saying, okay, we know that we're all going to talk about this topic on Tuesday. We're not, and those are social justice causes, especially. But, I live in the Twin Cities. You can imagine the social justice topics that I'm talking about, but we're very pointed about it. I tweet for some organizations, and it's very much, but you can do that on a smaller scale. And I don't know if it's a smaller scale, but another scale, by just saying, so if you guys are interested and want to share your Facebook address, I will post that. I will make that available at least to all of you guys. And as I said, the first step would be sharing each other's stuff, and interact again as your pages. Just say, oh, great post. But that people who are paying attention, I mean, it's one thing if you start liking everything on Coca-Cola's page, they probably aren't going to start noticing, but your own neighbors and people who know you, where you're building up a genuine community, they will start to notice. I mean, so that is part of it too. So this is kind of all the ways to organically grow. And it's nice to lift up to other people. I've kind of gone more into the tactics of some of this stuff today, but I think I spoke the last time a little bit more. I'm going to stop screen sharing for a minute since I'm not. People like to share posts that make them look like they're part of a team. You know, this are here. The best is here's a picture of my kid's art. Here's a picture of my kid's graduation. Here's, you know, I'm part of this family. Here's the, you know, here, look at my niece is an awesome dancer. All from that perspective to here's my baseball team. Here's my, you know, everybody wants to be part of a team. So if you can create a kind of a post that makes people part of a team, that's something that people like to share. People like to share things that make them look cool. Here, we just posted so if I have a radio show, probably I spend some time at First Avenue Bar, Minneapolis. I did it. So I got to do a super secret backstage tour of it. Yeah, that was one that everybody wanted to share. If you've got super secret anything to share, people will like to share that. And it doesn't, you know, I can only imagine they were telling me all the deepest secrets while I was there. You know, it doesn't matter how deep and secret it is, but people like to share that kind of, you know, anything that makes you, you know, makes you look cool. I mean, it, you know, that makes you look like you're in the know. That any kind of anything for it's so anything that makes you when my daughter was 4, she said you can't be cool and cute at the same time. She wasn't wrong. So anything that for some people they want to look cool and some people they want to look cute. You know, the cute kittens. So posting things that will make people look like they're cool, or posting things that are informative. So those are the kind of posts that I think most people want to look at. I just wanted to spend 30 seconds talking a little bit like that about that, because otherwise I know we've gotten a lot more into the tactics here. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. I'm going to pause for a second because I know a lot of people talked about sort of the consistency. So I think Dave, you're onto something, saying every Friday we're going to do something. Then people sort of expect it every Friday, but more than anything, that holds you accountable. Yeah, and if you know you're going to do something every Friday, you're going to do something every Friday. I mean, it's kind of like going to the gym. Seems horrible the first time, but you know, after a while, it's just what you do. It's just what you do, and it could be once a week. It could be. And I think I said in a different session, I worked with a resort, and every day over the fall, we posted a picture of one tree. You know, do I think people need to post daily? I do not. But if you're going to do something like that, it was fun. You know, and everybody kind of looked forward to it, or they might not look for a week and all of a sudden go, oh, it's beautiful today. It's a totally different color today. So coming up with some ideas like that, and just an editorial calendar, and I've said it many times, I create them and then I don't use them, but what it does is it does hold me accountable. It does to say, okay, I'm going to try to do something on Tuesdays or Fridays or whatever it is. I think if you can come up with a fun idea for it, and fun, depending on what the nature of your business. I mean, it's, you know, if you're responsible for your COVID response, being fun is probably not that, but you know, something that's kind of catchy, that's going to let people do it. And it could relate to your business. It could be lifting up other businesses. So we've got the chamber, we've got the EDA, we've got a couple of different people like that to say, you know what, every other Tuesday, we're going to just mention one business. You know, and it could be that you're going to do an interview of a business. You could go all out and say, I'm going to do a quick video through Facebook. I'm going to do a Facebook event, you know, interview with somebody, or use something off Zoom, write up something, click to their page. It could be as little as just knowing in your own head, every Tuesday, I'm going to try to share somebody else's story. You know, so sometimes it's something, and you can call it Freaky Friday and be real obvious about the good thing about calling it Freaky Friday and knowing that then everybody's going to expect something on a Friday, is that really does hold you accountable. Or you can just know it yourself. I don't know if people get the Minnesota Rural Partners newsletter. It's a newsletter that comes out, I think it's the second Tuesday of every month, and it's, oh my gosh, it's like 12 pages. If you don't and you're interested in rural grants and things like that, let me know and I'll put you on the list. We come out every, the second Tuesday of every month. It's something I decided that would be the timing 10 years ago is something we still hold true to. I'm sure there are 3 of us that do it. I'm sure we are the only 3 that know that it comes out on the Tuesdays, but it holds us accountable, and it's held us accountable for 10 years. Like somebody had a surgery like the Monday, and they're like, oh, what are we going to do? I had to say, we're the only ones who know. Nobody else knows we do it on this timing. But just having that timing, I think, makes it. And this is where you do think about who are you trying to reach and what do you want them to do? Like if you're a chamber, lifting up your other businesses is really something that you want to do. If, I think I use these guys, maybe it was in a conversation. I used to work for a company that made these little stuffed fruits and vegetables. They did educational, nutritional materials. They're in Owatonna, Minnesota, Learning Zone Express. And one of the I used to bring these guys, people know about Flat Stanley. Flat Stanley is a kid's assignment, and you get a cardboard of Flat Stanley, and you've got to take Flat Stanley everywhere you go for a week. I used to travel a ton more, and I would bring one. There are 24 of them, so there's an orange, there's an apple. I would bring this little guy on all my travels, and I would take a picture, and you'd have to guess where in the world is Eddie Eggplant. And if you got the answer right, you won probably an Eddie Eggplant or $25 gift certificate or something like that. And sometimes Eddie Eggplant would be in Paris because I used to travel. And then sometimes Eddie Eggplant was at the Dawson Gnome Garden, which is in western Minnesota. But people loved it. People loved it. I mean, we got hundreds of people, which, and if you're in Paris, you kind of, you put it in a picture like that, you put it someplace that's kind of tricky. When you're at the Gnome Garden of Dawson, Minnesota, you try to put it in the most obvious place. But it would, you'd make it hard enough so that people. So I think that kind of interaction, just trying to think about what. And I know some people, the people I'm trying to reach, maybe the product that I have. I had a friend who was a financial advisor. She could offer tips, and that was good. Offering tips made a lot more sense. Financial tips, that made more sense on LinkedIn, but on Facebook, people are looking more for fun ideas. So she had been a bartender in the cities forever. So like every Saturday, she would give a review of a bar, and at least built up her following. Because especially if you have a small business, a huge part of your business is your personality. So that's.
Anne?
Yep.
This kind of reminds me, see the sign behind me, Old Highway 61? The Old Highway 61 Coalition we've tried to do, take a selfie with the sign, so somewhere along Old Highway 61. And we had some great prizes that businesses donated. Free golf, we had a whitewater rafting trip, some really good prizes. But it seemed like the only one that was really doing these things were us, and we couldn't win them, and people that we would ask to do this just to get more pictures out there. How do you promote something like that better?
That is where you come up ideas where people try to tag themselves. I mean, and I will tell you right now, it's kind of cooked into what I do with the radio show is that I tag musicians. So it's funny, the week after we had Charlie Parr on the show, whoosh comes the traffic and we get a bunch more. So anytime you can kind of do a connection, but that, as I said, that's baked into the nature of what that is. But you can think of kind of who are the influencers in your area, You should have gotten me up there. I have a lot of Twitter followers, Nancy, and I am a sucker for taking a picture. When my kids were little, they had all the Peanuts characters all around St. Paul. That's how we spend our time. And now that they're 15, 20, and 21, you can see them in many pictures. Yeah, but I make them do it. But that is and I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint in a second, because you could do a contest with it. I mean, there are tools and some things that you can do for that. That's where I would draw in, use the newsletter, see if Explore Minnesota, something like that. I might even pitch it and say, you could get some interest if you wrote a press release on something like that. Treat it like it's a news item. that you would use in your business, outside of being online, especially now, because all we've got, what would you do to promote an event? And do the same thing that you would do. So use your newsletters, try to find some, influencers, find a few people that will do something like that. Tag Explore Minnesota when you're talking about it. They may have turned off the ability to tag, but think about the different people who might use that from that. If you got a local radio station, but get people tied in, especially anybody who's offering the gifts, have them promote it too. That's a great. So and especially now when, the real world is in a strange place, looking at your online activities like they were real events helps, in advertising. You can boost some of those posts. So now I'm going to transition back to, I can't remember if we're 1 or 2 slides away from looking at some of the advertising stuff, but this seems like a good time to share the screen so I can remember where the heck I am. So I think things that are interactive work well. And I guess, see how I said I'm going to shift gears and I don't. The one other thing that I'll talk about, and what I did when I was really good about doing editorial calendars, I kind of took a look at the calendar to see what else is going on, because it's helpful, especially if you're going to look at doing any kind of advertising, to tap into what's going on in the world. So it's, if I were doing something this week, Father's Day, thankfully my sister reminded me of yesterday, but that Father's Day is going to be a trending topic. Fishing opener. We used to live by sewer lakes in Chicago. That's the only time I've ever fished in my life. But because I do a lot of work in rural Minnesota, I know the fishing opener is probably also this weekend, isn't it? Usually Mother's Day. Sorry, that's usually Mother's Day weekend. But tapping into some of those things, and going local with it and going broad with it, kind of depending on, again, who is your audience? Is your audience parents? Are people celebrating the first day of school, or are they celebrating the last day of school? Tapping into some of that too. And the beauty of social media is you really only have to remember it like 3 days in advance, depending on what you want to do with it. If you want someone to buy a Father's Day present, it's probably helpful to think a week in advance. Although many of us don't think about it that early, apparently. So, contest ideas. So I was kind of on track. Look at Nancy, you segued me right into the. So here are some of the contest ideas. There's the simple like to win. And I think I've talked about it before. That this company, we got their Facebook page from 400 people to about 5,000 because we gave away tattoos. One of my princesses is awakening, and I'm going to have to warn her. You heard? Till 9:30. So sometimes it's not helpful to tell somebody under the age of 30 at 7 o'clock that you've got something going till 9:30. So the beauty of signing up for the tattoos is what we ended up doing is we had them sign up for the email list because we needed their address to mail the tattoos out. So essentially for the price of postage, we got their email address, they liked us on Facebook, and we got their home an address, a street address, I should say. And again, I think I've talked about it before, but this was so much more successful than we thought it was going to be. I thought we might double. I thought we might get, which would be awesome. If we'd gone from 400 followers to 800 followers, that would have been awesome. 26 hours into this week-long thing, the owner said, pull the plug. I'm super happy, but pull the plug, because suddenly we had 4,000 tattoos that we had to, but you can't buy mailing lists for posted, you know, so that was a good comment to win. The nice thing about any kind of comment to win is that when they comment, their friends can usually see it, depending again on how they've set up the privacy settings. You can see. So their upload pictures is a good, because of course, in the algorithm, Facebook will give more credence to images, and people like images. I've included the link below. There are contest rules. And I haven't done a contest in a while, so I had looked at them. They've relaxed them a little bit, but there are essentially, you can't you can't ask somebody to post on somebody else's timeline. You can't have them tag somebody else. Look at the policies. I thought that would make sense. There are third-party tools that will help you go through this. We got lucky in the one when I did the tattoo thing, because I set that up with, I think they used Constant Contact or MailChimp. They used some kind of newsletter tool. So we had that go immediately into the email tool, and we could printing labels off of that. So you just want to think a little bit about what is the best way to capture this information. Otherwise, you know, you can use a third party and they can slice and dice it a bunch of different ways. You can use, depending on what tools you have on hand, you might be able to MacGyver something that will work really well. Or, you know, if you're pretty sure you're going to get a manageable amount, like plan for that 5,000. I mean, you know, at least have in your mind what you do if you get 5,000. But if it's one of those things where, yes, you want people to take a picture of the Highway 61, and you'd be really happy to get 24 people reply, you know, if you're feeling it, just pick a random winner. And there are tools where you can put everybody's name into a randomizer and pick it that way. You could put them all on a slip of paper, but you know, you can go from doing it in a very homemade way to upscaling it to using a third-party tool. So those are some. And I think there's like a 2-minute video, and I'm debating about whether it makes sense because they say it so more succinctly. Head nod if, and I can only see 4 of you, if whether it makes sense to see this 2-minute video that Facebook has on doing ads or not. I'm seeing, okay. But here is a screenshot from there. So there are a couple of different ways to do ads. Essentially, you either create an ad or you boost a post. So if you boost a post, I work with a theater in Dawson, Minnesota, which is how I know about the Gnome Garden. And what we do is that if they have an upcoming show, she'll say, do a post and I'll boost it. You know, and the nice thing about it is whether you're doing a post, whether you're boosting a post or whether you're creating an ad, and the truth of the matter is I'm not going to go too much into the details of it because Facebook walks you through it. They'll say, choose an image, create 6 words. So it's to get into the specifics of how to do it is maybe not the best use of our time because they will walk you through it, except to know the difference. Posting a boost is when you have content that's already out there that you want to lift up, and the rest of them are kind of ads that you create. You can slice and dice how you want to reach people. You could say, I want to reach people of this age, you know, this age group, this gender, and you can say, I want to reach people in this area. So the nice thing for when you care, it's awesome when you care about geography because that's going to save you a ton of money. You know, you can spend as much or as little money on Facebook advertising as you want to, and they will give you more statistics than you can shake a stick at, you know, so from that perspective. And it's worth trying, and you'll see, I mean, you would only need to do a search. If you look at if you visit this site, this Facebook page site on ads, you will be certain to get an ad in the next 3 days offering you $5 off your next Facebook ad campaign. you know, and you can just start with 25 bucks. So it's kind of worth. What I will say, that kind of gets back to what I've been saying, have that call to action. Is the call to action that you want people to follow your page? Know that is the call to action that you want people, you know, so that you're able to count it. And I always say with online stuff, you get so many statistics, and it's awesome. I look at web stats, and it's overwhelming. You know, there are people who have whole jobs at it. There are the businesses that will have 3 people. All they do is look at their web stats. And you can learn a ton. But I will say, you also want to know, okay, at the end of the day, do I feel like that was a benefit to my business? Did more people come through the door? Did I get more people to buy something? So kind of balance it with that. I think yeah. That was a quick introduction to ads, but as I said, that the nice thing about ads is that they're so affordable that you can give them a try. And again, I think it's helpful. They'll walk you through everything else, but the one thing that's not so intuitive the first time you do it is that it's either boost or it's create. So we spend a lot of time on kind of how to do things organically, interacting with different as your page, you know, tagging people or commenting on other posts, sharing other posts. You know, the nirvana is creating something that somebody's going to share, you know. And then it's just a matter of how can I, and I'm thinking it's hard if what you do is work in the mental health industry. People don't always want you tagging them. Your customers don't, I mean, depending on what the situation is, you know, but we've got Lisa, if what you do is take a picture of high school seniors, they love to be tagged, you know, so thinking about how you can draw people in from that perspective too. It's helpful if you're going to tag someone in their pictures. I think it's helpful to ask permission. Whether you need to ask permission or not is a different, but you would hate to lose a customer because you tagged them and they didn't want to be tagged, you know. So the nice thing about asking, what I loved about one of the things that we had with this little guy is that people could post their own pictures, or Nancy with your idea with the Highway 61. If they're sending you their own pictures, the nice thing about that is if they include a picture of their 8-year-old, that's on them. You know, it's like that is when asking people to share from that perspective. But people are often happy to share, especially if it's, you know, if there's a chance to win something, or just, you know, it's informative, or it makes them look like they're part of a team, or it makes them look cute or cool. I mean, you think about it yourself. It's funny, I read an article about that years ago, and I was like, I kind of nailed it. You know, and so, you know, part of a team now is especially with the election coming up and everything, it's very political, so you decide where you want to go in terms of some of that. But all right, now I'm looking to see, now I can see some of the comments. Do people have any questions? Have I answered a lot of any open questions? Has this been helpful? I hope. Yeah, as I said, I can see that some people have included their Facebook addresses here, but really I think a nice way to start it is just by liking each other's stuff. And the nice thing about it is doing it as your Facebook page that does kind of lift everybody else, whether you want to do it also from your personal profile. Some people are very, you know, I've worked especially with a lot of teachers or superintendents, you know, they like very little on Facebook. You know, they want to be pretty, you know, because even you know, we can all imagine that. So I will share the addresses that I get. So and I'll try to lift stuff up. So when we can leave the house again, I'll leave the house again.
So how do we, from our work or our business page, like another page? It always goes to my personal one instead of from my work.
I'm gonna look, okay, so you know what? I'll use this one again.
I mean, I know how to like it if you see a post,
Yes, and
but it comes from my personal side.
I'm testing to see. Oh, Nancy, that's a good question. And oh, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. Dun, dun. Okay, can you see my screen? First Avenue there. So I'm looking at for the First Avenue page, and people, is that what people are? Okay. If I want the ellipse after we've got liked, so that's, I've liked it as myself, following, share. If I click on the ellipse, like as your page.
Okay, okay.
And here I can select what page, so I will, there you go. Those are all my,
I see, okay.
there we go. Okay.
So if I go to MHCS,
MHCS.
if I say like as your page, then it will be my personal.
Let's see, MHCS, is that?
I'm sure that's mine that we're looking
Yeah,
for.
that's Dave's.
And I did see, Nancy, that it came through, but it was, you liked it as yourself. not as-
Personal, yeah.
Yep.
But I'd like to like it as Chisago County.
You could try typing in mental health counseling services. I don't know if that'd show up better.
Yeah, I'm on your page.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to like it as Chisago County instead of as me, or both.
We'll take all we can get. The second one on the screen there.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking at it. This is the right one?
Yep.
Oh, it's column picture.
And maybe the problem is I'm already,
Yeah, because I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Click on the ellipse, like as your page. Mostly Minnesota music. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It worked for me.
And what exactly did that just do now?
So now so I'm looking at Dave's page here. Are you guys seeing the same thing? Sorry, I always ask that, but I've learned to ask. If I want to like this page as me, as my profile, as Anne, then I can just click here and like it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to like it as my page, I need to click on that ellipse, say like as one of my pages. And now, because I have a number of pages that I manage, I'm coming up with this long list.
Okay, I guess my question is, what does that look like on your page now that you made this little connection here?
Oh, it may or may not show up. It may show up saying that I've liked it, but what it does do is it lets me interact. It shows up as a follower on Dave's page. So it's kind of,
Okay.
And now if I log in as my page, it'll be part of the wall that I see when I log in. It does make it easier to tag mental health service counseling, and it makes it easier to interact with them. But
Okay.
as much as
you're obviously helping his page by pulling you, but is there a return advantage on that? Is he now connected to anything on your page flying through?
Not necessarily.
Two-way street or just a one-way street?
It's mostly a one-way street. I will say it's mostly a one-way street. So when you see that somebody has liked you, you want to pay attention to, do you want to like them back? But there's always a benefit in lifting other people up. I mean, I think that's how a lot of the social media, it sounds very, very hippy dippy, but that is kind of how the social media works, is lifting people up. People will see when I lift them up, and that makes, that makes me look good, depending,
Okay.
But that's a good question. Yeah, thanks for asking that. But there's kind of a long-term payoff, I would think, but short-term, there isn't anything that you couldn't count it. And I was kind of say, if you can't count it, it's really hard to say that there's a.
Yeah, and I see I can do that. I figured out how to do that now, but of course I have 4 pages and it showed the other 3, not the Chisago HRA one. So I could like it as Old Highway 61 or EPS 4593, but I can't like it. So
Dave, you're getting lucky. Everybody's lucking you as an.
I was going to say, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever one you want to use. And
Yeah.
Anne, if you want to do all of yours,
We'll
that'd be
take 'em.
fine.
Okay, that's what I've been frustrated with all this time. So thank you. That's a huge question. I've been asking for a long time how to do that.
Facebook has made it, they've just made it physically easier to do, because it used to be that you'd have to scroll down using this line, and it never worked for me. It was just a technical thing where I would get so frustrated. So it was.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking, and we're down to the hardcore 4. I could do a poll here, Nancy, or we could send one after the fact to see what people were interested in doing. And I'm happy to hang on for a few minutes, but people are kindly saying, sorry, gotta go. So I know it is 9:30, but.
Yeah, we'll figure that out and let everybody know if we're just talking about whether or not to have another training, probably on July 1st, and what would that topic be? And SEOs has come out at past meetings on a next topic. I don't know if you have thoughts of something that you would be interested in.
Dave, you're the
lone
business.
business.
You're the lone. It's all about you.
I'm the only one here who gets a say.
Yeah. Yeah, you go ahead.
Well, no, boy, this was super helpful.
Oh, good.
No, it was brought to me by my manager, and he said, I'm kind of running the Facebook page, and we just started doing it. And so he said, yeah, you should definitely do this.
Yeah.
So, no, I appreciate this. I was unfamiliar with your group, and I appreciate you letting me be a part of it.
Well, thanks for joining us. And
Yeah, of course.
if you feel you'd like to have one-on-one counseling, the HRA and the Small Business Development Centers have teamed up and are providing that with Ann Tracy. So if you had a topic, websites, Facebook, whatever it might be, she can certainly help you if you like.
Got it. Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll maybe poll everybody after this and figure out what we want to do next.
Well, we might just ask, I don't know what people are doing about July 4th holidays.
I know, I wondered that too, if we should just go, are people.
I mean, do we still do holidays?
I don't know.
I hate to ask it that way.
Or do people do this while they're on holiday?
Well, that's Marlis is doing it on her houseboat, so that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm happy to do it. And and I suppose we could do it, and then if we found out there not many people had signed up, we would just do it a different.
Yeah, or we could wait until mid.
Oh no, I just want to make sure that we aren't. Just ask people and.
Summer's tough anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm here, so.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
I'm here all the time.
All right. Well, nice to meet you, Dave, again. Glad you joined us.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate the information and all the likes on the Facebook page.
Yeah, there you go. You heard the.
Well, that's good information to get out right now. In fact, this is a side note, but we're working with the East Central Regional Development Commission, and they're getting some EDA grant dollars in regards to COVID and getting people back to work and helping businesses. And we talk about mental health.